I'm really excited to be doing this recipe of the week with you today because guess what? It is a recipe from my new cookbook that no one has seen yet. And so I'll adapt them a little bit so I'm not giving away all my secrets, but I thought it would be a really fun one to do because it's become a standby in my house. And it can be great for any meal. I'm doing it for breakfast, and I'm calling it a breakfast bowl with sweet potatoes, garlicky greens, and poached eggs. However, um, I am making some chicken in the oven too because I just wanted some other protein to have, and my son doesn't eat poached eggs, and it's dinner time, right? So I figured I would show you a couple ways to make it, and then also have the Peperonata that I made in the Tools and Techniques class yesterday. So I'm super excited to have that to kind of build a bowl as well. Not build a bear, build a bowl. And let me show you how simple this recipe is. First of all, I was also thinking, you guys, I mean, it's sweet, maybe that like life is realistic around here and that it's not perfect, but I'm laughing because my son just got home from being gone for a week and there are dishes in the sink and I'm trying to be cool and not give a lecture on this is my place of work, right? Where I cook and do all my things. So you'll have to forgive the mess and the chaos of regular life. Some days I wish I treated it more like a professional cooking set, but alas, not today. Okay, sweet potatoes. Something fun that I did for this recipe. I normally dice my sweet potatoes, but I actually wanted them to cook faster. And I like messing with food visually. And so I scrubbed these sweet potatoes and I'm not going to take the skins off them. And I'm going to cut them into coins, circles. Even if the center of it is larger, they're going to cook evenly because they're the same thickness, right? You know how I'm always talking about having a stable surface so it doesn't roll off? I'm just cutting a little bit off to stabilize it. Yeah, right. So that helps because actually I need a little more. So it'll mess up my perfect rounds, but it'll prevent us from cutting our fingers off. So I'm just keeping this other hand here, my little claw, as I cut about 1/4 of an inch slices. And I think I'll just do, should I do 2 or 1? I think I'll just do 1. The recipe, my editor actually came back to me the other day and said, why are you doing this recipe for 1 person and some of your breakfasts are for 2 people or 4 people? She's not wrong. Oh, she's right. It's confusing. But I think I'll end up doubling this, but let's see how the recipe is on its own right now. I'm going to follow it like I wrote it. And we're going to see what the yield is for 1 person and if we like it. And you guys can write me and tell me if you think that it's worth doubling. I think in my head, I was thinking it'd be a great weekday meal to make because it's so fast. And I don't mean you're supposed to like start cooking from scratch every morning, but I spend a lot of time in my house. And so if I'm around and I can do something like this and I'm not having to spend a lot of prep time, I really like it, you know? So let's push these together, trying to save of course, dirty dishes because I'm allergic to them. So I'm just going to sprinkle these with olive oil and a little bit of salt. I've got my recipe right here. I wrote it months ago. And I tested it months ago. But one of the things about me and my food is you'll realize once you kind of master a technique, you can really mess around with these things. So I've sprinkled with salt and olive oil, and I'm just tossing them. And then I'm going to put a little smoked paprika on them. Or do I go for regular paprika? Smoked. Let's see what I have. This is just regular, but we'll survive. I like smoky everything, except sometimes I don't want smoky flavor in my tomatoes, like fire roasted. Sometimes I don't want that. Sometimes I do. But when I'm making classic tomato sauces, I don't want a smoked or fire roasted flavor. I like it for more like Mexican food when I'm doing spice. Okay, I just did this on my chicken. There's no top on it. Let's see if I can like just have a gentle hand with the paprika and not drown them in paprika. So far, so good. I'm bragging. It's bad news. Okay. Yeah. All right. These are going to go in the oven for, let's see what I said. 8 to 10 minutes. Yeah, that's why this is so awesome too, because it's so fast, right? So I'm going to put these in the oven and set it for an actual 8 to 10 minutes. The chicken is already cooking at 375 for the potatoes. And the chicken can cook, honestly. The, these are just chicken thighs again with olive oil, salt, little paprika. They can cook anywhere from 375 to 425 and be absolutely delicious. So it's a very forgiving, which I love. Okay, let's move on to we're going to poach the eggs and we're also going to make some greens. I usually make spinach, but I bought something else today because I've had them um, at a meal last week and they were delightful. Oh, how funny. I bought new sweet potatoes today and I used one of the old ones. These are, you guys, I can't remember what they're called. I had them at this great Cambodian restaurant here the other day, and they were so good and such a fun alternative to spinach. And all they did was serve them. Well, we ordered a plate of greens, and they tell you it's going to be the options, right? But all they did was they kind of served them just like this. They might have sliced the stems down a little bit, but they served the leaves whole with garlic and olive oil or some sort of oil, and they were delicious and salt, and that was it. And they were the best addition to we had cornstarch fried gluten-free fried chicken. So it was either cornstarch and potato starch that they fried it in really crispy, and then rice. And then these greens, which I really needed. And the rice was cooked with chicken stock, which was absolutely delicious. But after pigging out on the chicken and the greens, I didn't really need much rice. And so let's just rinse these and make sure they're not dirty. And we're going to mess around. It's not bok choy, and I'm embarrassed that I forgot the name of this. I'm going to have to go back to my market and check. I knew what it was last week, but the name has escaped me. I'm using a paper towel today because all of my clean dishcloths are waiting to be folded in the next room. It's just been one of those days, you know? I'm very excited. I have one of my dearest friends in the world coming to stay with me tomorrow. Her name's Jody, and we've known each other since the first day of first grade. I've spoken about her in my blog posts, and I'm really looking forward to having her here. She hasn't been to stay with me in San Francisco yet since I moved into the city, and I love taking requests to cook for people I love. So I'm curious what I'll make this weekend, but I'm sure I'll be doing some other cooking, which should be nice. Okay. I'm just going to cut the bottoms off these. Okay. The stems. And I'm going to put those in the compost right there. These look really clean. Let's just see what happens when I cook them whole in my large frying pan. I'm going to move this over so you all can see this. Granted, I've moved into like nighttime or lunch territory with this. If I were doing this for breakfast, even on a weekend, I would just saute spinach and I would buy the spinach that's been triple cleaned, and it's in a container. And I give you instructions, 4 cups packed spinach, kale, or collard greens, coarsely chopped. All of those are really easy to, chop up pretty quickly and they cook very quickly too. These are going to cook fast. I just want to mess around with the style of how long they are. And I know I grabbed some garlic. Oh, here it is. And so I'm going to take a couple whole cloves of garlic. I'm not going to mince it. And I'm going to cook them in oil. And then I'll add the greens to the pan and I'll keep the garlic in it. They're just going to kind of really coat them. I'm going to show you my little meat pounding trick for getting the skins off the garlic. Okay. One day I'll be back in a dreamy kitchen. We'll remodel this place and you'll just doing and awing. My visual inspiration is what I think heaven looks like. I keep saying that. They're like, what's your aesthetic? And I say heaven, which is basically like very light and bright and glowy, just like light sunshine coming through the windows, but very light colors everywhere. Okay. All I'm doing to these cloves of garlic is smashing them with my meat pounder. You normally see me do it with the back of a knife like this, right? And all of your hands so you don't cut yourself. But I think the meat pounder is really fun and it does a better job. It's safer too. Okay, so then you can just peel the skins off. And we don't have to worry about doing any of my nonsense of Mincing, adding salt to mince it. And keep in mind, I take my time when I'm showing you these things. So obviously, it wouldn't take you this long to do all this at home because you're not. I'm not. I like to chat and explain as I go. So you could probably do all of these things much faster on your own. Mhm. So here we go. Let's do this. I need something to land these greens on or in when they're done cooking. I might do them in two batches here. So let me think about that. I want to put them, can't reach any of those things. I think I'll use a dinner plate. And then we'll just put what all of this looks like. The bowl that I would put it in to plate is they're all in the dishwasher. And so uh, we're just going to be random. But I have these bowls. They're like a pot, what people call a pasta bowl, right? So they're wide at the bottom. This is too small. It would be wider at the bottom and it just kind of comes out like that. But let's just see what happens with the greens first. I'm going to put this on pretty high heat, and this doesn't disperse a lot of oil at once. This is that Graza Sizzle extra virgin olive oil. It's meant for high heats. And so this is probably a tablespoon. I'm trying to coat the whole bottom of the pan because I want the garlic to be saturated. If you want to cut off the tips that are the green part of the garlic, by all means, go for it because they don't taste good. I'm just not going to dissect it like I normally do, right? I hear it sizzling. Not yet. There we go. You want that pan to be pretty hot, and you don't have to be quite as careful since I'm leaving these slows full. But the pan, you don't want them to burn, of course. Um, we want to start hearing a little sizzle. And then I have some salt nearby, and then these are going to kind of cackle, splatter because they've got a little bit of water on them, right? So I'll try to get a little bit more of that water off. I just drip water on them and watch what happens. Um, but that's okay. They're just going to splatter and just be careful. You don't want to put your face over the pan. And then I want to get some palm. Oh, the garlic, I'm just kind of making sure it's been like saturated in the oil a little bit. And then let's just put some of these in a bowl and see if this even works. Have a few more this direction. And then let's add some salt. Hi, Bora. Good. Now we're talking. So it's just kind of wilty a bit. You gotta kind of like move the garlic around. That's 8 minutes on the potato. It should take a quick meat. You could use a couple more minutes. I didn't do it too far, I promise. I think they look really pretty full. That doesn't mean they're easy to eat. And the stalks don't soften really well. We're going to try something else for the next step, okay? Unless you're spending it for dinner, I would pick the spinach or kale. It's something that you can chop finely and cook very quickly. This is more, these would be amazing. Visually underneath something else, like serve chicken or fish or something on a bed of these greens and then be phenomenal. But before I add more, let me turn this off for a quick second. I'm going to chop these. Let's chop the stems of these others and cook them up so that they're more appropriate for a bowl. This a little bit this way so you can see. I'm going to just kind of like do that. And now they'll cook really quickly and be really easy to put into a breakfast bowl. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more oil to this pan. The garlic's not too burnt, which is great. Now we're talking. Salt. So we have greens, we have sweet potatoes, we have a poached egg, which I'm going to poach for you, hopefully to perfect them. And they make these delicious little bowls for breakfast. You could add turkey sausage or any kind of sausage you want. You could add grains to it. If you cook off grains, anything, whether it's rice, quinoa, and use that as a base for a bowl, or you could stir fry some of the cooked grains with greens and make it delicious. This is a great way to get fiber in the morning as well. These are great. So I'm going to take them off. I'm not going to serve those big clumps of garlic in with them, so don't worry about that. Not that you will worry. Put my and then let me just unplug this for a quick second while I'm talking, so you don't have to listen to that. And then we'll poach the egg. Do I need those anymore? No. That means the sweet potatoes are probably done. So let's take a look at those, okay? And the chicken thighs are going to have another 20 minutes probably. So those might not be done by the time we're done. But it's just nice to have them as an alternative, right? For dinner time. I'm just wiping this down too. You know that induction actually cools down much faster than electric or gas too. So you don't want to put your hand on it for any time, but I didn't burn myself, as you see. Hi, Connor. All right, let's just make sure everything's clean before I take the sweet potatoes out, and we'll take a look at those. See what we think. They look good. Let's just make sure that they're cooked through and they don't have any bite to them. Well, we're done. We're perfect. So excited. They're really good. Look at how hot. Watch play. I don't know why or the outside you tackle when I'm teaching you all. I think it's because I have to turn my back on you every time I eat grab something new and that feels rude. Or maybe I just have that habit. Okay. I'm just going to get this baking sheet out of the way. We'll put it over here and let me set the timer for more time for the chicken. Yeah, we're going to beat the chicken. Time-wise, not injure it. Okay. So now we've got our garlicky greens. We've got our sweet potatoes. I'm going to plug this back in and let's poach an egg or two in case you've never done that. And I can show you how to do it. You're going to grab a couple of eggs. And then I need a couple of small ramekins or bowls to put them in because if you want them to keep their shape, you need to crack them individually into different little vessels or one at a time so that they don't combine. Let's see if I can do this without breaking these oaks. You got to be, is when I joke that food can smell fear. You have to be very assertive. Okay. So far, so good. So I cracked some eggs just like this. Okay. Now let's have a minute to talk about uh, egg poaching and what you can put in the liquid. There are a million ways to do this. A lot of people recommend putting vinegar in it to help them set and salt. I used to use vinegar. I don't know why I stopped. I just was like, does it make that much of a difference? And I think at one point I didn't think it did. And so I didn't bother anymore. Right. And so today, all I'm going to do is bring this to a boil. And then I'm going to show you how I put them in and how to simmer them and remove them very carefully with a contraption like this or a slotted spoon. Okay. Oh, it says my internet connection is upset. Shoot. Gosh darn internet. All right. Let's get these greens in the bowl. I'm just going to put these next to the sweet potato. So when it's time to build this bowl, it's already ready to go. I'm taking out those huge garlic cloves like I told you I would. It's beautiful so far. And then I'm going to put a little bit of peperonata on it from yesterday. This is just purely extra credit. You certainly wouldn't need this, but it's going to be delicious with these other ingredients. And I like treating it just like a condiment, right? My recipe in the book and on the website, I think it's ahi tuna, seared ahi with peperonata, which is absolutely delicious. But it's really fun to just have it like this and put it on anything. Well, induction works so well. This water's already coming to a boil. It's such a great energy saver. I'm really happy I thought this. It's nice to be able to demonstrate without my back to you as well, but this is pretty awesome. This bowl is looking very pretty. Good, right? Okay. One thing you do want is you want to stir the water before you drop the egg in, and it creates this little vortex and helps shape it. At least I think it does. It could be baloney. Seem to be missing all of my favorite tools. Just use a regular spoon to spin it. It also, I think, just helps more light stay attached. Let's just see, shall we? It's amazing how quickly that water moves. Oh, one thing I want as soon as the eggs are done poaching, paper towel or a very clean kitchen cloth that doesn't have any texture on it, really, right? Like a bar mop towel, not a bar mop. What do they call those ones that are for glasses? Are those bar mops? No, they're not. I'll think of it. Um, okay, here we go. Now I want this barely simmering water. So it's a little too hot right now. I'm turning it down too. Now it's a 3 on level 10. When I drop the egg in, it'll reduce, bring the temperature down. Oh my gosh, it's a masterpiece. That one is just like perfect, perfect. Let's see if I can drop another one in. Boom! And they're not really touching. They're still swirling. The other way to do this, where you could retain the most egg white, I learned this technique and it's hilarious. You have to get a slotted spoon. No, you get a regular metal spoon, right? It's kind of got an offset handle, and you can drop it in there and you hold it in the spoon while it poaches. It's a lot of work, but it works. I also learned how to do them in the microwave with a sauce, a cup and a saucer, and it worked really well. Okay, so now the point is you don't really want to mess with them. You just, and you also don't want this water to come to a big boil, because if you do, it's going to cook the yolks very quickly. And I do not like cooked yolks in a poached egg. If you do, by all means, let her rip. But for me, the excitement is that when you cut into the poached egg and all the yolk is runny, to me, that's the perfect poached egg. And I can see that it's like there's a little bit of bubble underneath the eggs. I'd rather have too little than too much. It's hilarious. It looks like those Mr. Clean commercials, those old commercials with the soap bubbles. It's like the egg yolk is kind of like bubbling up because there's a bubble underneath it. It looks like a little sea creature. You could probably turn it up one small. So if you're doing this on a gas or electric cooktop, I would say medium low. But visual cues are what are really important with things like this because every cooktop is different. And so you have to pay attention. This could be medium for some people. On an electric cooktop, it could be one of a million temperatures. Oh my gosh, it's almost perfect. I can't wait to show you. I get very excited when things work out well. And you're always going to have some leftover, like egg white that didn't stick to the rest of it, and that's fine. I'm just going to actually get rid of all of it. Okay, look at this beautiful poached egg. It's like it shakes, it wiggles, but you can tell that the yolk is still runny. You can see underneath it. When it's not runny, it turns bright or yellow from orange. This one actually needs like another second. The whites need to go from translucent to opaque. And this one still looks a little clear on the top. It's like perfect. Okay. So you could do this. They always make you do this on cooking competitions. They make you shock your eggs in water because sometimes they don't have the chefs taste everything until much later. And so you can stop them from cooking by putting them in a bowl of ice water and then putting them straight back into a pan of warm water for about 15 seconds. If I don't have to do that, I don't do it. So I like to do things, I like to poach eggs right before I want to eat them. That's just me. I'm getting this. Okay. So this is the moment of truth, folks. Let's fill this bowl and take a look at my poached eggs. Let me get this out of the way too. I gave myself this compact little cooking center. Okay, let's move this to the center. And then I'm not afraid to kind of handle these with my hands because I'm confident with my poached egg. But you see what I'm doing? I'm not going to put a nail or something like that on that one, but I'm going to put it right here. This one. Look at her. She's so pretty. And then, you know what I love more than anything? I do not like, here's what I don't like, an egg yolk without any salt. So I'm actually going to salt and pepper these eggs a little bit before I break them open. And then I'm going to sprinkle them with a little more salt. I'm going to predict that egg's perfect. And that one is like 2 seconds over for what I like. I could be wrong. Okay. Drum roll. Here we go. Can you see it, first of all? Oh, there we go. Oh, you guys, they're perfect. They are perfect. Now I see why that publisher wants me to make this for more people too, because you know what? It's just not that hard to cut up a second sweet potato. I've got a whole other bunch of greens here. And so I'm going to at least double this recipe so you can make it for 2 people on the weekends. But you've got the sweet potatoes, you've got these beautiful sauteed greens with garlic underneath and these poached eggs. And then I've got a little dash of peperonata. Let me just put it all together and see what I think. Try to get a bite with everything. This has to be one of the best ways to start your day because it's got everything you need. It's got plenty of fiber and protein, which are going to hold you. Complex carbohydrates, which we need as well. And so many nutrients with every color of the rainbow practically in this bowl. It's just a phenomenal start to your day. So those are my breakfast bowls with sweet potatoes, garlicky greens, and a poached egg. For dinner tonight, I can serve it with chicken. You can skip the egg, and this easily becomes a dinner entree. You can see two of these, excuse me, with the longer green saute like that. It'd be beautiful to put chicken on top of it, and you've got a full meal there. I'd remove the garlic still, right? But thanks for hanging out with me for the recipe of the week. I'm doing these every Wednesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific time for House of Hoss members. On Thursday mornings, we have our live show. Tomorrow happens to be at 8 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. Pacific time because I have Josh Connolly joining me, who is a facilitator, breathwork expert, and he's my co-host for 2 retreats that we're doing this year. The first is on May 2nd, called Come Home to Your Body, and it's going to be online. And so tomorrow I'm interviewing and talking to Josh about his work. He's fantastic. So I hope I see a lot of you there. Everybody have a delightful evening and send me messages. Let me know what you think and what else you want me to teach you how to cook. Okay. Thanks for joining House of House Live.